Welcome to Mathematics Pro. So today we are going to solve question 2. So question 2 is made up of two parts. We have A and B. So let's get started with part 2A, which is an equation. So in part 2A, we have this equation which is in the form 3x plus 5x divided by 2 equals to 12. So we are having a fraction. Whenever you have a fraction in an equation, what is important to do is to eliminate the fraction. So how do we eliminate the fraction? Before we move further, there's something I want to let you know, that whenever we have an equation, for example, if you have 2x equals to 4, so this implies if you want to look for x will be equals to what? 4 over 2, which is the same as 2. Now imagine if you need to multiply all of this times 2, would the answer change? So here we are going to have 4x should be equals to 8. So if we divide to have x is still the same. So when we multiply an equation with any number, it remains the same. So that is the first thing we ought to know. So when we multiply an equation with any number, it remains the same. So now looking at this equation is in the form of a fraction. So even though it's a quadratic equation, so what we have to do first is to eliminate the denominator. So if we have this denominator, it's going to be difficult for us to solve. And this denominator is x. The only way to eliminate this denominator, x, is to multiply all the equation by x. And remember, I said when we multiply an equation with a given unknown or a number, it remains the same. So if we multiply all of this times x, it remains the same. So let's work it out. So here we are going to multiply all of this equation times x so that the x at the denominator can cancel. Should be equals to 12. So we have 3x plus 5x should be equals to 12. So if we multiply x times 3x will give us 3x squared. If we bring this x here, you can see that if we bring the x here, this x will come here and cancel with this x. So we'll be left with only plus 5. So next we are going to have, if we multiply these, we are going to have should be equals to 12. Now to arrange this in the form of a quadratic equation, 12x, sorry, we know that the quadratic equation is in the form, ax squared plus bx plus c should be equals to 0. So we are going to bring this in here so that the equation should be equals to 0. So this can be in the sum of 3x squared plus 5 minus 12x equals to 0. But arrange it in this form. So a should be closer to x squared. So we have 3x squared plus, we have bx, so bx, the constant with x as a variable. So here we can see that we have minus 12x. So this should be minus 12x plus c plus 5 equals to 0. So this is our quadratic equation. We can have it directly here. A is 3, b is minus 12, and c is 5. So we have all the values that we need. Then looking at this question, we can solve this question using factorization. The only way to solve it is to use quadratic formula. So I hope you can remember the quadratic formula, which is x equals to minus b plus a minus the square root of, we are going to have the square root of b squared minus 4ac. divided by 2a. So this is the quadratic formula. So to move further, we just need to substitute. We have to plug in the values of a. Be very careful when you're doing it, because a, again, a is equals to 3. B is equals to minus 12. You can put it in the bracket so that you don't make any mistake when it's minus, and C is 5. So if we plug in the values, so we are going to have x minus b. B is minus 12. That is why I said put it in the bracket so that you're not going to make any mistake. Minus 12 plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 12 square minus 4. Our a is 3 and our c is 5 divided by 2a. Have divided by 2a. 2a, a is 3, so we are going to have 2 times 3. Okay, so to simplify this further, we are going to have we are going to have x. This will give us a minus times a minus is a plus, so here we have 12. We have plus and minus. The square root of minus 12 square will be a positive number, because a minus times a minus is a plus. So this will give us 144 minus, we have 4 times 3 times 5 will give us 60. Divided by 2a divided by 6. Okay, so to move further, let's simplify further. We're going to have 12 plus the square root. So 144 minus 60 will give us 84. We have 84. So this is plus and minus divided by 6. Okay, so if we simplify, so we have two values of x, one with plus and the other with minus. So first we'll be going to have 12. We can start with the plus. We have 2, so we start with plus. 12 plus the square root of 84 divided by 6. Okay, so we don't forget that our answer should be in 2 decimal place. So if we punch this with our calculator, firstly you have to look for the square root of 84, right? So square root of 84 plus 12 divided by 6. So this will give us about 3.5275 and so on. So but we are focused with 2 decimal place. So looking at this number, 2 decimal place, this is more than 5, so we need to add plus 1 here. So our first answer for x will be equals to 3.53. Next, when we are going to use minus, we are going to use minus. So if we use subtraction, we are going to have x will be equals to 12 minus the square root of 84 divided by 6. To 2 decimal place, this will give us 0.47. Let's move to the next question, B. So for question 2b, we have this probability question. A ball has a bag containing 5 green. So we have 5 green, 1 red ball, 4 blue ball. A ball is selected at random from the bag and not replaced. So a ball can be selected at random without replaced. Then a second ball is selected. So 2 balls are being selected. So the first one is selected without being replaced. So if we had, like here we have 5, 1, 4. So the total number of balls is 10. So when we select one ball, we'll be left with 9, and it's not going to be replaced again. So the total number of balls are 10. When you select one, only 9 balls are left. So a second ball is selected. So draw a tree diagram to show possible outcome. So we are going to draw a tree diagram to show the possible outcome. Now before drawing the tree diagram, one of the first thing I want you to remember is that we have 5 colors and 3 colors. 1, 2, 3. So I have green, red, and blue. So to draw, we are going to draw the tree since we are having 3. So this will be 1. Sorry. So this will be 1, 2, 3. Okay, so these are 3 that we have. Next, also, since a second ball is selected, so when we said when I can 1, 2, 3 is the 3 colors that we have here. So we're going to have the green. We have green. Sorry. We have green. We have red. And we have blue. But the first, so when we select the first time, we need to select again the second time. So we repeat this so that we have the possibility to have 2 outcomes on each. So if we do that, we are going to draw another 3. Three. 1. So we are going to have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this is how our tree diagram is going to look like. So we still put the same 3 colors. So we still have green, blue, green, red, blue, green, red, and blue, green, red, and blue. So this is what we are expected to do. Now the next thing that you should know is that normally we set a total of 10 balls. 10 balls. So if we select the probability to have green, so the probability to have green is 5. So here we have 5 over 10 is 5 over 10. The probability to have red, you need to write the probability to have red here, is equals to 1 over 10. And the probability to have blue is 4 over 10. Okay, so if we select, like here, if we select one green, if you select one green, how many green will be left? So we'll be left with 4. And when we select, a number is not replaced, so it's going to be 4 over 9. So when we select one green, because the total number of balls is 10, when we select one green, we'll be left with 4 over 9. Now, since we selected only one green, what will happen to the red? The red will remain 1. But the total number of balls is still 9. It will remain 9. And for the blue, we are going to have blue will remain 4 over 9. So if we proceed with this as well, if we select the red, here, so we'll be left with red, we'll be left with 0 over 9. But what happened to the green? It will be 5 over 9. And what happened to the blue is going to be 4 over 9. Okay, lastly, if we are to select the white, we'll be left with 3 over 9. The red will remain the same as 1 over 9, and the green will be 4 over 9. Now to complete our tree diagram, let's write the total number of outcomes. So we have green and green here, so we are going to have green and green, and here we have green and red, so we are going to have green and red, and here we have green and blue, so here we're going to have green and blue. We do the same, red, green, red, red. You can change this to capital letter, it's still the same. So we have red, green, this is it. Next we have red, red, this is it. And next we have red and blue. So red and blue. Okay, the last one we are going to have blue, green, blue and green, and we are also going to have blue and red, blue and red, and lastly we are going to have blue and blue. Now what does all this outcome is all about? This outcome means that when we select, we can only have these colors. So we can only select maybe green, 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 red, green, blue. So these are the possible outcomes. So we have drawn the tree diagram. So the next question is to find the probability that the two balls are of the same color. So that the two balls are of the same color. Looking at this, we have green, green. This represents green, and this represents also green. So this is green, green. So they should have the same color. So the formula that we are going to use here, the probability of green, green, plus the probability of red, red, because the two colors, the same colors, plus the probability of blue and blue. So find the probability that the two balls are of the same color. So we have the same color here, so that's why we have green, green, red, red, and blue, blue. So these are multiples, so we are going to use our various probability, this times this, plus red times red, be careful, plus blue times blue, and we are going to simplify. So if we do that, we are going to have the first one is going to be 5 over 10 times 4 over 9. Have to be very careful. Next we have red and red, plus 1 over 10 times 0 over 9, plus last one is blue, blue, so this is our blue, blue and blue, plus 4 over 10 times 3 over 9. So if we multiply this, we are going to have 20 over 90, plus this will give us any number times 0 will be 0, and this one will give us 12 over 90. So if we do it in the fraction form, we need to add only the numerator, so the denominator remains the same, 90. If we add this, we are going to have 32. So if we simplify, we are going to have 16 divided by 45. Because 2 can divide, we can divide by 2 and yet by 2. So this will be our answer for question 2. Okay, so thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos and tell a friend as well.